Welcome to the NETMA Show, where we discuss news and current events and analyze how those things impact your everyday life. My name is Kellen, and I've got one thing to talk about this week. If you're like me, you've seen a bunch of news this week talking about something called the Migrant Caravan. Well, the Migrant Caravan consists of about 7,000 people that have decided to leave their homes in Central America, including countries such as Guatemala, El Salvador, Nicaragua, and Honduras, as a result of a lack of economic opportunity as well as rampant gang violence. For example, some gangs threaten business owners, demanding payment for protection, and if they don't pay, not only is that business at risk, but lives are too. So some people said, to hell with it, I'm getting the hell out of here, and they decided to move north to chase the American dream. Now, people moving north to the border is nothing new. People have used smugglers in the past, which are people that are paid thousands of dollars to help people make that journey. Well, these folks in the caravan decided to save money and join with a bunch of other people in the hope of finding more protection. There's strength in numbers. And so all these people are moving north across Mexico now. Now, we're not sure if all of these people will make it to the U.S. border, but it's safe to assume that most will. And so to help curb this, the U.S. government has demanded that these Central American countries, which people are leaving, as well as Mexico, do something to curb the amount of people heading north. And in my opinion, it should be incumbent upon those countries in which people are leaving to do something about that, to perhaps improve their living conditions. I don't know how possible that is, but that's just something that goes through my mind. And so Mexico has actually recently stepped up to help provide food, shelter, and education for those in the caravan that elect to stay in some of Mexico's southern states. Now, I've never been to southern Mexico. I don't know anything about it. But for the folks that are coming out of Central America, that could be a good enough deal for them to decide to stay. Now, the question is going to be about the rest of those that make it to the U.S. border. What's going to happen with those people? Now, those folks could apply for asylum, which is when the U.S. will accept people into the country if they can prove to us that they are in great danger in their home country and that they just wouldn't be safe there. Right? So the problem comes in is that President Trump has indicated that he may shut down the border to all activity, including asylum seekers. And that's because he may feel that there are terrorists in that caravan that are just looking for ways to get into the U.S. and then they will wreak havoc on everyone that lives here. And we don't have the evidence to, confirm or deny that, but I do think it's fair that we, make sure we meet the people at the border, right, and understand who they are and their reasons for coming to the U.S. Now, there's probably going to be a bunch of people that say, we're not going to deal with this whole asylum application process going through the border, and they're just going to choose to enter the country illegally. The problem with that is, those folks will constantly be at risk of deportation, right? And then without coming in legally, they may not have the documentation to get a job or even a bank account, two things that would help them, achieve that American dream, that would help them provide for their families and make the over 2,000-mile journey worth it. And so I think the U.S. is at a crossroads to decide whether or not we're going to allow all these people in. And in my opinion, that's a bunch of people. Or are we going to simply turn them away or do something at the border? In fact, the U.S. has sent 2,000 National Guardsmen to help support the Border Patrol efforts. And additionally, another 800 troops are being deployed to the border as well. Now, these troops do not have the authority to go after anyone, nor do they have the ability to shoot at anyone. However, they can assist the Border Patrol, which does ultimately have all of the authority. Now, interestingly, this is all occurring prior to the U.S. midterms. So side note, if you are a U.S. citizen and you are of age, I recommend that you get out and vote on November 6th in your midterm elections. It's not just about presidential elections, but it's also about your local and state governments as well. End of side note. So with the midterms coming up, some conservative-leaning politicians and the Republican Party in general could use this as ammo or an opportunity to encourage people to come out and vote for their party, because the Republican Party has tended to be much more strict when it comes to border control situations, more so than the Democratic Party. And if people feel like it is a danger for 7,000 potential people to enter the country, then yeah, they may vote for the party that's going to be much more strict at that border. Or some folks may seem to have more compassion and be more accepting of the people that are running from potentially a terrible situation there. Here in my position, I do think it's important that we know who wants to come in and their reasons for doing so. And then we want to encourage people to come in the legal way. We definitely don't want anyone to have their lives at risk in Central America. But at the same time, we need to be judicious about those that do enter our country, and as a benefit for them, to make sure that we have the opportunities for them to achieve that American dream. So I'm interested to hear what you've got to say. So please drop me a comment down below. Let's start a dialogue. I can learn from you, and you can learn from anyone else in the comments. So with that, that's all I got. Peace.